Hello, I'm Katie.
And I'm Jed.
And welcome to Untitled, the Jackson District Library podcast where we talk about all things books, movies, games, and other media, plus some library-ish things too. Today, we'll be talking to Carly, our Springport and Parma branch manager, about Rain, Rain. We're also joined by Rachel Fenningsdorf. But before we get started, I want to thank you for checking us out. We really want to connect with you, our community, and help you to find new material to read, watch, and play. We started out by recording first chapters, which is now one of the segments, but it evolved into what you're listening to now. We really hope you email us at podcast@myjdl.com and tell us what you think, ask us a question, or just say hey. So, without further ado, let's talk about what's new and coming up at JDL in June.
All right, let's start off with our new June book releases.
The one that I want to highlight here is titled Horse by Geraldine Brooks. In 1850, an enslaved groom leads a thoroughbred horse to a series of stunning victories. When the Civil War breaks out, a young artist fighting for the Union encounters the groom and his horse under dangerous circumstances. In 1954, a gallery owner becomes obsessed with a mysterious 19th century equestrian painting, and in 2019, a scientist and an art historian are brought together to uncover the secrets of the horse and its groom. This one, it sounds like it's more going to be geared to, if you're a history buff, you're probably really going to like this one.
That will be released on the 14th of June. The first book I'm going to feature is How to Raise an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. Ibram X. Kendi is an author of bestseller How to Be an Anti-Racist, wants to help parents raise the next generation of anti-racist thinkers. At first, Kendi didn't want to talk to his child about racism, fearing it would stain her innocence and steal her joy. However, research shows the opposite. By teaching children the reality of racism and the myth of race, we can build an anti-racist society in a diverse world.
Sounds like a really good read, and one that I definitely plan to pick up.
Yeah, this has been on top of a lot of anticipated upcoming releases.
Yeah, understandably so. So that one is also going to be published on June 14th of this year. So that's another one that sounds like
double release day.
Double release day, and it sounds like both really intriguing in different ways. We can't touch on every book that will be coming out, of course. Keep an eye on your branch's new shelf to catch those that we missed here. In the meantime, while you wait for those new releases, let's check out some staff recommendations for items you can get right now.
Our first staff recommendation comes from Margie out at Concord. Margie has a couple of movies to recommend for us. 2022 has been quick to produce few good movies. I did watch the new Highway to Heaven, The Hating Game, Spider-Man Far From Home, and The Novice, all on different spectrums of the genre pool. They have all four been the best movies I've seen this year. I must have watched them at the right time, and they all hit the viewing pleasure spot. Solid recommendations.
Yeah, and I have not seen all of those, but I have seen Spider-Man Far From Home, and yeah, I agree. Very good.
I think our patrons agree as well. That item, the moment it came in, I have not seen it on
has
the shelf.
Not touched a shelf. Yeah.
It's a straight to hold shelf item.
Mm-hmm. And our second one is from Heaven out at our Eastern branch. They are recommending A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is a prequel that is set in the same universe that is the rest of the Hunger Game books. This book's main character, however, is a young Coriolanus Snow. So we're following the young villain, basically, of the main series.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. He is chosen to mentor a tribute during the upcoming 10th Hunger Games. He is assigned the District 12 tribute, Lucy Gray Baird, who sparks the Capitol's attention after singing during the reaping. This book gives you an understanding behind the unlovable character and will possibly sway you the other way. May the odds be ever in your favor. I love those twist stories, like the Loki series or the Maleficent Disney movie that takes the bad guy and takes you into their head and their world and how they think and interact with the world. We get to see Coriolanus Snow and how he thinks and what he thinks he's doing and why he does what he does, as opposed to just him, being the figurehead of the Capitol that Katniss and the others are trying to take down. We get to see them.
I had no clue that the book was following the lead villain of the main series.
Yes.
So it makes me way more interested in it. I thought it was just going to be a prequel. According to Heaven's review here, definitely something to check out.
Oh yeah.
So next we want to highlight upcoming events at JDL. The first thing I would like to talk about is our bookmobile. This may be new to some of our listeners, but Jackson District Library in the last year has got a bookmobile. It's super exciting, and we couldn't be more excited to finally get out in the community and actually show people what the bookmobile is all about.
Yeah, we bring a branch to you.
So all summer long, the bookmobile is going to be out on a program called On the Move. So you can find the bookmobile Thursdays at the Green Market on East Michigan Ave, at the Grand Rivers Farmer Market on Fridays at 9, the Art, Beer, and Wine Festival on June 11th, all day long. And then Norville Township, we're going to be there on July 6th at 11:30. You can find much more information, of course, on our website, myjdl.com. But we really hope that you come out and check out the bookmobile because I can't stress, it is the coolest thing.
Another major thing that we have that's going to be starting up in June is our summer reading program.
Yay!
Yes, it is back. And we're back to doing things in person this year. So we've got a lot planned. It'll function the same as the rest of them, that you'll sign up for the program. If you're under 18, then you will be getting your book for signing up. And then at 4 hours of reading, younger than 18 will get another book, and adults that are participating will get a canvas bag. We have 5 different colors to choose from. We also have actual programs that will be coming back for it this time around. So we've got performers and we've got classes. So it's going to be a ton of fun, and we are bringing back our finale party too.
Ooh, very exciting. When does that start?
From June 1st to July 31st is when the program will be running. We have all sorts of programs happening at all the different branches, so you're definitely going to want to look into our calendar to see what's happening when and where so that you can keep track of it, because there's going to be a lot going on in the summer.
It's a great program. It's such an awesome thing for both adults and kids to do throughout summer, and our prizes they always get better.
Yeah, as I say, and we've got grand prizes again, so we'll still be doing the digital tickets for every 4 hours read, so you'll be able to put in for 16 prizes or something like that. We've got like 16 grand prizes, and they range from, full play sets for little ones to gift certificates and gift cards for local businesses like the ice cream parlor out at Cascades.
Ooh, and putt-putt too.
Yeah,
I saw
putt-putt and bowling.
One.
We have one that is a certificate for like a bowling party at Jack 60. And so
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good ones.
All right, the last event I'd like to feature is going to be the Eat Up and Meet Up program. We are continuing that again this year. If you're not familiar, the Eat Up and Meet Up program is a wonderful program that we will offer all summer long. The program is going to run June 20th through August 12th. It's Monday through Friday at the Carnegie branch. There will be other locations, so definitely, once again, check our website for that. But at the Carnegie branch in particular, they're going to be doing 12 o'clock Monday through Friday. You can come on out and get a free lunch if you're 18 and younger. Also, there's going to be programming to coincide with that, so come out and see what we're going to be offering for the day.
We're going to have some that will focus on STEM activities, so the science and the math and the experiments and kind of like the hands-on learning sort of stuff. And then we're also going to be alternating that with more arts and crafts focused ones. And there is something to note with this year as opposed to last year. Last year, with things being the way that they were, it was a grab-and-go sort of situation. We are back to what it was pre-COVID of you stay there, you eat there, and that's why we're bringing that programming back in as well.
Perfect.
So
it's
that
the on-site.
Yeah, it is the on-site meal, but that's why we're bringing the programs back so that we have something fun for you to turn around
I
and
love
do
that too, because it turns it from just being one event into an experience.
As Jed already said, be sure to check out our events calendar by going to myjdl.com. As a part of the summer reading program, we will be hosting a variety of performances, classes, and other activities. There will be tons to explore.
Up next, we have our interview with Carly, the branch manager at the Springport and Parma locations. She's going to tell us all about the book that she read this month called Rain, Rain by Anne Martin. She's going to tell us about why she enjoyed it and why she felt it was such an important read. All right, well, Carly, thanks for joining us. Do you want to talk about the book that you brought out today?
Absolutely. So the book that I brought for you today is Rain, Rain by Anne M. Martin. It is a juvenile middle grade kind of a mystery fiction book. It is about a girl. She is autistic, and it's a sad dog book.
So be warned. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it a really sad dog book where the dog doesn't make it, or is it just a kind of sad dog book?
I mean, it's middle grade, but it is still a sad dog book, but there's a very good lesson to be learned.
All right.
So no spoilers there.
Yeah, no spoilers, but sounds hopeful.
So what's the main character's name? What's their life about?
So the main character, her name is Rose, and she does not have a very good home life. She is being raised by a single father. Her mother left when she was very young. And one day her father comes home and he brought a dog that he found with him. And Rose names the dog Rain, for a couple of specific reasons. One of the things about the character that I love the most and that you see throughout the book is she is in love with homonyms. So words that are spelled differently and have different meanings, but that sound the same when you say them. So there's 3 homonyms for rain. You have R-A-I-N, so the precipitation, water. You have reign, R-E-I-G-N, which is to like be the king, to reign over something. And then you have R-E-I-N, which is like the reins of a horse.
Yeah.
So rain was found in the rain, and it's a 3 homonym word, which is very special. Most homonyms are only 2. So she names her dog Rain.
I feel like it would be a good challenge for each of us to think of 3.
Right.
A homonym that has 3. That seems difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm saying anyone listening.
Absolutely. But Rose has very specific rules about what counts as a homonym. She has a whole chapter just called, it's about the rules of how she chooses which homonyms to write down. She has a notebook just for homonyms that she keeps them all in alphabetical order.
That's awesome.
So the rules it has to be a real word. It can't be a proper noun. So names, places, that kind of thing doesn't count.
Yeah, like Ben and Ben. Doesn't count because one
or
of them
Rose.
is a name.
Right. Well, but Rose is also a flower.
Yeah, the plant. Yeah.
So
And Rose, R-O-W-S, or is that because it's plural? Does that count?
plurals do count.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting question because, there's a whole chapter on all of the rules.
So if we want to find out more, we know where to go to.
Absolutely.
We can just say reference to the book if you want to play along at home with our fine 3 homonyms.
I've been suggesting this book to patrons who are around Rose's age, around 12. Have you suggested the book, and who have you suggested it to?
I don't get the chance often to talk with middle grade students, but I have suggested the book to teenagers, and those who have read it have really enjoyed it. The first time I read this book, I was an adult. I was taking children's literature at Jackson College, and it was, as an adult, I went to college late. I was a non-traditional student, and it was phenomenal. The first time I read this book was really powerful, and I didn't realize that signing up for a children's literature class at community college would be so impactful.
So one of the things that I found in my reading of the book is that Rose has autism. Have you ever suggested it to someone with autism, or would you suggest it? Would it be a good read for someone with autism?
I would suggest it to somebody with autism. Now, there's autism in my family. I have family members that fall on the spectrum in a couple of different, it is a spectrum. I feel that the book, even though it's not written by somebody that falls onto that spectrum, it's really respectfully done. Her autism isn't the point of the book. It's part of her character, but it's not the plot points. It's not, she has to overcome it, or other people have to accept her, or it's her story told from her point of view, and she happens to be autistic. And I think that kind of mirror that a student or young person could see themselves well written in a story like that would be very, very cool. My nephew is almost old enough to want to be reading this kind of material, and I'm absolutely going to recommend it to him when he gets there.
And like you said, it's part of her character, and that I think is an important aspect of it as well, that it's like it is part of the character but not the character. Because it's like we've seen so many that it's like, okay, so the main thing with this character is they're autistic and that's what's up, or they're gay and that's what's up. But it's like, but human beings are more than that.
Yes.
And so like to have that more accurately reflected in the books that we read, I think is a very important thing, especially since it's like the whole point is like broaden your horizons, read about experiences that are different from your own. So it's like if you're only ever reading characters that live experiences that are different as your own, but they're written as like 1 or 2 dimensional, then it's like you're still not really getting it.
Yeah. And books should be windows and mirrors. So people should be able to see themselves reflected back, and people should be able to see into a different life or situation that they might never find themselves in.
Right.
So this book, I think, really does both of those functions well. And the character of Rose, she's so bright and she's so thoughtful and caring and interested and curious that it's really easy to love her. She has all of these things that make her feel like a whole human being.
Good.
So without any spoilers, what is like the impetus of the book? Like what gets the ball rolling, starts the story? Like what makes you turn the page?
Sure. So the big conflict, it happens end of the first third into the middle. There's a hurricane coming. So Rose, she has a not great home life. Her father is pretty gruff. He's pretty absent. He might have a substance abuse issue. And there's a hurricane coming. The hurricane comes, everybody plans for it. And then Rain goes missing.
So is this hurricane based, is it fictional hurricane or is it based on an actual?
It is a fictional hurricane. Okay. As far as I know, I kind of did a little bit of looking. I didn't see any hurricanes that matched up with what this one was. So it is fictional. But another cool thing about the book is that it's written from her first person point of view, that she's writing it down. So in the very first chapter, she says, this is a true story. So it's a fiction. There's no real character of Rose, but she writes it. This is a true story, and I'm going to tell you my story.
I like that. Yeah. It helps you like really put her right in her viewpoint.
Right. And that it sets you in the world of the story too, that it's like basically in this world that Rose is living in, she has written this book. Personally, like that's always fun to me, that it feels like you're actually being pulled into the story that way, that it opens with, this is a true story about my life, that it's like, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Like, it's funny how just even those small things can really transport you into that world.
Right.
Yeah. And the best part too that goes right along with this is you can see what matters to Rose. Like the things that she points out might not be what somebody else would point out. And if it was written third person, like Rose walked to the porch to, there's things you wouldn't see that are important to her, that are the things that she notices, that are the things that she looks at and thinks about, that you probably wouldn't get in another style of writing. She's a very literal person. She really likes rules and structure. Structure is very important to her. It helps her navigate through her day. That's another thing, too. The hurricane comes and school gets shut down because all of the roads are blocked and there's flooding.
Completely ruins routine,
so,
structure.
Yeah, all of that routine is gone and Rain is missing. So that's two really big obstacles that she's got to work through at the same time.
And I love that the book puts you right in that character's state of mind. So I imagine when those moments happen, it's really, like we were talking, page turning when it hits that moment.
Yes.
Yeah, you see like a difference in the writing style.
Yeah, it's hard to put down. I can read it in a day or an evening. I think a middle grade reader would probably take a week to a week and a half maybe to read it. So it's really fast paced. It goes by really quick because you just want to see what happens next. You want to see what Rose does. And it's a really cool too to see into her brain, that kind of frantic. She does this thing throughout the book. Whenever there's a homonym, she'll put the homonym or homonyms in parentheses next to the original word. So you'll be reading a sentence and it'll stop and pause and there'll be homonyms. And the more anxiety or stress or fear that she's feeling, the more homonyms pop up in her writing. So you'll get a whole paragraph that's twice as long because she's listing all of the homonyms.
I love that because, like, as a reader, that could feel really disruptive. But the point it seems like it's trying to make there is that, yeah, living with these fixations, it can be really disruptive. It can be where your energy goes to.
Yeah.
And that it pulls in, again, like we were talking, like her frame of mind. It sounds like it happens more often when she's really tense, when she's really stressed, that it just falls into this is familiar, this is what I know, this is what I like, I need this to get through. So that, again, pulls you into the book because it pulls you into her frame of mind.
Absolutely.
Because you're fumbling trying to figure out what the sentence is saying, and she's fumbling trying to figure out what to do next and how to fix this and get her structure back and get Rain back and
and
get
how to
the
stay
normal
focused.
get the normal and safe back.
Did you, as you were reading it, did you also think about how you identify and deal with issues and little tics that you might have as a result of it?
Absolutely. And I've got a lot of my own, tics and fixations myself. So, but I think about how I deal with things, how I approach issues, how, I like the question because it does kind of force self-reflection. You see how she's dealing with it, and you're reading these frantic pages where there's more and more homonyms, and she is, one of the things that makes her stress is when somebody's driving and they don't use their turn signal. And that's a rule you're supposed to follow, and it's not just any rule, it's a rule for safety.
Oh my God, is this me?
And I was going to say, I saw your response and I was like, honestly, same.
Right. So
I will sass people in my car if they're like in front of me and they end up turning but didn't use their turn signal. I'm like, you did a great job there. It's like, I could have known which way you were going, but I didn't. So it's like,
yes, I'm famous for saying it's not for you, it's for everyone else.
absolutely. And so in Rose's mind, not only is it a rule, and rules provide structure, so they're good, but it's a rule for safety.
right.
And so she's anxious. She's looking for her dog. She's being driven by her father. They just had this massive storm, and somebody didn't use the turn signal. And it's like all of this is coming. And it feels
It sounds very compound.
yeah. And each thing by itself is kind of a little thing. You might want to brush it off. And if you heard somebody else talking to you, you might brush it off. Like, that's not a big deal,
Right.
but it shows how well in the book, how she has to work through it and how it's building up and building up. And it definitely makes me think about how sometimes the little things can build up and build up and build up. And then next thing you know, you're in full blown panic mode.
Right.
And it isn't, with her case, the dog is missing, and that's a very big deal. But
yeah, so it's the littler things stacking on top of the bigger thing to start with. It's like there was this big hurricane that threw everything off. My dog is missing. That's not good. So it's like she's got those two major problems that it's like it's already stacked pretty well.
Yeah.
So that any little thing is just like, and that's going to tip it all over. It's like, even if it is just you didn't use your turn signal.
So I experienced quite a bit of self-reflection when reading this book and seeing how I deal with things and how things stack up. And I think that's really relevant, especially to our middle grade and teen readers, because there's
Especially
a lot going
at a time
on.
Where the reflection sounds like it could really help you evaluate, look at yourself, and kind of learn, hopefully, tips from this to kind of
Absolutely.
navigate.
Again, I haven't actually read the book, but I plan to now. But like, with the idea of all the little things stacking on top of a big thing, like, I think that's something that pretty much everyone can relate to at this point, given what the last 2 years have been like.
Absolutely.
Like, we've all been dealing with this big stressor. So it's like, I'm sure everyone is hitting those points where they're like, wow, this little thing never used to bug me.
So is this the first book that you've ever read from Anne Martin?
It is not. So Anne M. Martin is famous for creating and writing the Babysitter's Club series.
Classic.
No, yeah,
I
absolutely.
read every one in the 80s.
That's fantastic.
I never read any, but my sister has a whole Rubbermaid tote full of them.
My sisters are 80s kids, and yes, they have loved and read the series.
Yes, Babysitter's Club is definitely a cultural touchstone. I can't say that I read all of them. I do know that I read several of them. I don't really remember a whole lot of them because I was so young, and I was that young kid that read so many books that it's like you don't remember what you read.
There were a lot of words. That's what I got. Yep.
right.
The Babysitter's Club is seeing a resurgence, actually, in our circulation, in our collection.
Yeah.
The graphic novels
Yes,
have been
the
a big
graphic
hit.
I was just going to say the graphic novels have been moving a lot at Carnegie.
And I wondered if that's because of the popularity of the Netflix show that had come out.
Right.
Like, that was such a big thing, and that's all I see people buzzing about, and
Right.
how upset they are that it didn't make it to another season.
But so Anne M. Martin, she's pretty famous for a lot of things, mostly for Babysitter's Club. But I feel like Rain Rain is another hit from her. And if you enjoy Babysitter's Club, it's an easy jump to Rain Rain.
Well, speaking of shows and movies and things of that, like, do you think this book would be a good fit for something that could jump to the silver screen?
Oh, I would absolutely love to see a movie made of this. There's a lot of visual interest. The hurricane, I can imagine how impressive that would be on a big screen. You know, the tension and the color palette of the,
Right.
New England during a hurricane. Because in the book, she and Rain are both scared of the storm, and her father really isn't providing any comfort. And so they're comforting each other and themselves during the storm in bed, and they're both shaking. And just the way it's written, I can absolutely see it on a screen. Now, I would love if they were to make it into a movie. I do think that it would be so great if we could find an actor that's on the autism spectrum to play Rose. I think that would be really important. But I think it could absolutely be done as a sad dog book. There's the whole sad dog thing, but it ends so hopefully, and so, it's bittersweet. And just, I feel the feels you would get seeing that on the screen would be really impactful.
I feel like live action young adult in that genre, I can't really think of any recent films that kind of touch on this subject matter, and I feel like it would be a great book to adapt.
Absolutely.
So what are you up to right now? What are you reading? Anything good for us?
Absolutely. So I am reading A Demon Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark by Carl Sagan, which is a 1996 nonfiction book on skepticism and understanding science and science literacy in the general public. I am about to start a fiction. It's the last book in the Gone series by Michael Grant. Michael Grant is the husband of the author who wrote the Animorphs. So they do kind of like sci-fi, dystopia. This particular book series is a kind of a scary, I don't want to say horror because there's horror elements, but it's not like a horror series.
Yeah.
But it's like a sci-fi dystopia about this town in Southern California where the whole town gets cut off by this dome, this ball that centers on a nuclear reactor, and everybody over the age of 15 disappears. So it's only 14-year-olds and younger who are left, and I'm on the last book.
Nice. So it almost seems like a thriller rather than a horror at that point. But it's just there's a lot going on that it's like, yeah, it's a scary situation, but it's not like there's a ghost or a serial killer after me sort of horror.
Right. It's possible aliens, but there's also human and animal mutations and power struggles between different factions and survival. There's plagues. There's these kids have got to figure out how to feed themselves after all of the canned food runs out. So
it almost sounds like a sci-fi rendition of like Lord of the Flies.
So what's the title of that one again?
So the title of the series is called Gone. And the first book is called Gone, and I'm about to start the last book, which is called Light. I have a thing where whenever I work with teens and they recommend me a book, I always read the book that they recommend. So when I was doing the JDL Discord, the teen hangout, whenever they recommended a book, I would read it. And Gone is one of the books that was recommended when I was part of the JDL Discord.
Yeah,
so
and
now you've read the entire series.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where I got it from too. And same thing, I had put it on hold and I took it back and everything else. And then it just like sat neglected for a while.
They all look like door stoppers, but they're such fast reads, kind of almost Stephen King-y, where they're just fast. Like they look big, they look like door stoppers, but you can breeze right through them.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, they are kind of an older series, and there are a couple of problematic elements to them, but they're not very blatant or malicious. And knowing when they were written, it's an older series.
Yeah.
So if you go in knowing that, I think they're pretty fun.
The errors that are here were just like honest mistakes because we didn't know better at that point when it was written. Yeah.
Well, thanks for fielding all of our questions.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. Do you have time to hang out and listen to some 1-star and 5-star reviews about the book?
I would love to.
Awesome. All right, so I'll get started with a 5-star review. And this is from Susan Crow, once again, Goodreads. Susan wrote, "How in the world that's DODUEDEW, that's YOUEWE, even rate or... that's OROAR review a book like this. I can't even put the emotions I'm feeling right. That's WRITRITE. I'm feeling right now into words. My head hurts from all the crying. Read this." And that's all in exclamation marks at the end. And that's an amazingly emphatic review. And I do love that everyone seems to be really buying into this homonym thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's great. I think if you read the book, you're not going to be able to think that and see them in that way.
Yeah.
Although I will point out that they did miss one in their or. So they have OR and OAR, but they don't have ORE.
Oh, that's a 3 homonym.
It's a 3
And
homonym.
that's one of the rare 3 homonyms.
Oh, good catch,
Susan
Katie.
Crow, we got to leave you a note on Goodreads
Just
here.
letting you know that like you were so close.
So close.
It was
That could
almost
have been
a 3 homonym
triple
day for
word
you.
score.
Yep. And then I've got the 1-star reviews. So I'm starting off with one from Sam Chapin from Novelist. "This book is extremely horrible and has no character. The only reason I read was because my teacher made me. Do not read this book ever in your life. It is terrible. If you like this book, you must be crazy." And that whole last half of that is in all caps, just, for the context of it. So they just wanted to make sure that you knew. Don't ever do it. That's their warning sign to the world.
I think the lesson to be learned from that review is required reading is not everyone's favorite thing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like forced fun.
I think that age group too, the required rating is, is not always well received.
It's a good way to
Yeah.
lose your audience, sadly.
So this 5-star review is by Carrie Ann on Goodreads. It says, this book was a delightful palate cleanser in between heavier reads, and it also made me cry. Highly recommend. 5 stars for, that's F-O-R, F-O-U-R, F-O-R-E, animals we will never deserve, word nerdery, and a simple but supremely memorable story. P.S. This cover is gorgeous. Well done, design team.
You know, I think that's a good point. People say don't judge a book by its cover. But honestly, especially in this category, the young adults, that does mean a lot.
Absolutely. And this book is gorgeous. Now, if you can picture it, the palette is dark. There's some blacks, there's some very dark navy blues, and just a smidge of like the lighter turquoise blues. And so the top of the book is darkest, and the blues are right along the edge where the silhouette of the grass and a running girl and a running dog can be seen. There's rain falling. It is a gorgeous,
Looks like a
understated.
shot out of a film.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It really does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's a gorgeous cover.
For our last 1-star review, this one is anonymous, and it is from Barnes & Nobles. It says, "Hi everyone, this looks like a good book, one I could really relate to, but I was just wondering if the dog Rain dies in it, because that happens a lot in books where the dog goes missing, and I won't be able to if has that, 'cause I'm sensitive to that stuff. Please let me know if it does. Thanks," with a smiley face. So with that one, I'm just over here like, you wrote a review for something that you haven't read yet. So it's like,
I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to plug a resource, an online website. It's called, I can't remember.
It's called doesthedogdie.com.
That's
Yes.
it.
And it's
There you
good
go.
for movies as well as books. And you can go, and there's no spoilers. You just look up the title, and it tells you whether the dog dies or does not die.
so you
helpful.
just get a straight yes or no.
So no more 1-star reviews, unnecessary 1-star reviews. Just go to doesthedogdie.com
Right.
and find out this amazing information.
There's tons of people that leave 1-star reviews for books they've never read. And the same goes with 5-star reviews. They both baffle me, but the 1-star reviews especially, because
Right.
I think that's why they're so amazing to read. Is the tonal contrast between the two are so insane at times.
Right, and because you can get a 5-star review that's like a book in and of itself, and then you can get like a 1-star that's just like 2 words, like didn't like it. It's like, okay, do you want to elaborate on that?
Or what seems emphatic 5-star review, and then they reveal that they've never read it.
Right, and it's
Right.
like, wait, what do you mean?
yeah, the ones that crack me up the most are the ones that are 1 or 2-star reviews, and then the written review says, I liked it.
Right, did we not figure out how this works?
Yeah.
Like maybe they were doing like 1-star because they're like, this was number 1, like it's so
Right.
good, but it's like that. Nope, that's not how this rating system works.
Yeah, I cruise Goodreads a lot, and you see that quite a bit.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Carly. We really appreciate you taking the time to come out here and interview with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm very excited to be here with you guys.
Awesome. We'll hope we get some more checkouts for this book.
Yes,
Absolutely.
the well-deserved checkouts, it sounds like.
Stay tuned to hear Carly's reading of the first chapter of Rain, Rain.
Rain, Rain by Anne M. Martin. Part 1. The first part. Chapter 1. Who I Am. A girl named Rose. Rose. I am Rose Howard, and my name has a homonym. To be accurate, it has a homophone, which is a word that's pronounced the same as another word, but spelled differently. My homophone name is Rose, R-O-W-S. Most people say homonym when they mean homophone. My teacher, Mrs. Cushel, says this is a common mistake. What's the difference between making a mistake and breaking a rule, I want to know. Making a mistake is accidental. Breaking a rule is deliberate. But if, I start to say, Mrs. Cushel rushes on. It's all right to say homonym when we mean homophone. That's called a colloquialism. Breaking has a homonym, I tell her. Breaking. I like homonyms a lot, and I like words, rules, and numbers too. Here's the order in which I like these things. 1. Words, especially homonyms. 2. Rules. 3. Numbers, especially prime numbers. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a true story, which makes it a piece of non-fiction. This is how you tell a story. First, you introduce the main character. I'm writing this story about me, so I am the main character. My first name has a homonym, and I gave my dog a homonym name too. Her name is Rain, which is special because it has two homonyms, Rain and Reign, R-E-I-N and R-E-I-G-N. I will write more about Rain in Chapter 2. Chapter 2 will be called My Dog, Rain, Rain, Rain. Something important about the word right is that it has three homonyms, right, right, and right. That's the only group of 4 homonyms I've thought of. If I ever think of another 4 homonym group, it will be a red letter day. I live with my father, Wesley Howard, and neither of his names has a homonym. From our porch, you can see our front yard and our driveway and our road, which is called Hud Road. Road has 2 homonyms, road and road. On the other side of the road is a little forest, and through the trees you can see the New York Thruway. The word sea has a homonym, sea, S-E-A. But even better, seas has 2 homonyms, seas and seas. I'm in 5th grade at Hatford Elementary. There's only one elementary school in Hatford, New York, and only one 5th grade classroom in the school, and I'm in it. Most of my classmates are 10 years old or about to turn 11. I'm almost 12 because no one is sure what to do with me in school. I've stayed back for 2 semesters, which is a total of 1 year. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. Some of the things I get teased about are following the rules and always talking about homonyms. Mrs. Leibler is my aide, and she sits with me in Mrs. Cushell's room. She sits in an adult-sized chair next to my 5th grade-sized chair and rests her hand on my arm when I blurt something out in the middle of math. Or, if I whap myself in the head and start to cry, she'll say, "Rose, do you need to step into the hall for a moment?" Mrs. Leibler tells me that there are things worth talking about besides homonyms and rules and prime numbers. She encourages me to think up conversation starters. Some conversation starters about me that do not have anything to do with homonyms or rules or prime numbers are, I live in a house that faces northeast. After I say that, I ask the person I'm trying to have a conversation with, in which direction does your house face? Down the road, 0.7 miles from my house, is the J&R garage, where my father sometimes works as a mechanic, and 0.1 miles farther along is a bar called the Luck of the Irish, where my father goes after work. There's nothing between my house and the J&R garage except trees and the road. Tell me some things about your neighborhood. I have an uncle named Weldon, who is my father's younger brother. Who else is in your family? My official diagnosis is high-functioning autism, which some people call Asperger's syndrome. Do you have a diagnosis? I will finish up this part of my introduction by telling you that my mother does not live with my father and me. She ran away from our family when I was 2. Therefore, the people living in my house are my father and me. The dog living in our house is Rain. Uncle Weldon lives 3.4 miles away on the other side of Hatford. The next part of my introduction is the setting of my story. I've already told you my geographic location, Hud Road in Hatford, New York. The historical moment in time in which this story begins is October in my year in 5th grade. Now I will tell you something troubling about 5th grade. It isn't as troubling as what happens later in the story when my father lets rain outside during a hurricane, but it is still troubling. For the first time in my life, I'm being sent home with weekly progress reports that I have to give to my father. The reports are written by Mrs. Leibler and read and signed by Mrs. Cushell, which is my teacher's way of saying that they're in agreement about my behavior. The reports list all of my notable behaviors for Monday through Friday. Some of the comments are nice, such as the ones about when I participate appropriately in a classroom discussion. But most of the comments make my father slam the reports onto the table and say, "Rose, for God's sake, keep your mouth closed when you think of a homonym." Or, "Do you see any of the other kids clapping their hands over their ears and screaming when they hear the fire alarm?" In the last report, Mrs. Leibler and Mrs. Cushell asked my father to schedule monthly meetings with them. Now he's supposed to go to Hatford Elementary on the 3rd Friday of every month at 3:45 p.m. to discuss me. This is what he said when he read that. "I don't have time for meetings. This is way too much trouble, Rose. Why do you do these things?" He said that at 3:48 p.m. on a Friday, when there was no work for him at the J&R garage. Uncle Weldon heard about the monthly meetings on October 3rd at 8:10 in the evening when he was visiting my father and Rain and me. My father was standing at the front door, holding the letter in his hand and gazing out at the trees and the darkness. "These meetings are crap," he said. Uncle Weldon, who was sitting at the kitchen table with me, looked at my father from under his eyelashes and said, "I could go if you want." Uncle Weldon has a very soft voice. My father whipped around and pointed his finger at Weldon. "No, Rose is my responsibility. I can take care of things." Weldon lowered his head and didn't answer. But when my father turned around so that he was facing outside again, my uncle held up 2 crossed fingers, which was his signal to me that everything would be all right. Right, right, right. I held up my fingers, 2, 2, 2, and we each touched our hearts with them. After that, Rain came into the kitchen and sat on my feet for a while. Then my uncle left. Then my father crumpled the letter from Mrs. Leibler and Mrs. Cushel and tossed it into the yard. That is the end of the introduction to me.
Thanks for listening. Feel free to email us at podcast@myjdl.com with any thoughts you have about our reading from today, any materials you think we should touch on in future episodes, or any questions you may have about library materials, events, or services. Any views or opinions expressed by the hosts or their guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of the Jackson District Library as a whole. This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only.